Hello. In our next lesson, we're going to be taking a look at how to perform Intersite inventory transfers within X3. The purpose of the Intersite transfer, it's used as the tool within X3 to allow an organization to move inventory from one warehousing facility to another. There are a lot of different applications for this. One common application would be if an organization had a manufacturing facility that it produced all its goods at, and it wished to transfer those goods to its various warehousing facilities that are spread across the country in order to improve the organization's lead times to its customers. Another common application for the Intersite transfer is that it can also be performed in the context of consignment, whether it be the consignment of inventory from a supplier to the organization or in the context of an organization consigning goods to one of its clients. There are a couple different methods of performing Intersite transfers within X3. The first method, the one-step transfer method, it's commonly used in cases where there's not a great need to track the inventory in transit. So if an organization maybe had two warehouses that lay on the same campus location, this would be a common method that those inventory movements would be performed. The other method that we're going to take a look at utilizes the sales and purchase order fulfillment models. Okay, so with this model, both the shipping site and the receiving site are going to be set up as business partners. And the fulfillment of the transfer, it follows a lot of the similar flows that you see with inventory movements with external business partners. Couple different advantages of this particular model. One is that it provides good visibility to the inventory that you have in transit. Another advantage is that if your organization is leveraging any of the advanced reordering tools within the system, MRP, MPS, and so forth, the Intersite transfers can be set up on the product site records. And we'll take a look at some of that in our setup process. As it relates to some of the required setups within the system, from a product perspective, the user has to have a product site record set up for both the receiving site and the shipping site. Then from a business partner perspective, both of those sites need to be set up as supplier and BP customer records. Okay, the process flow for the one-step transfer method. Again, basically it's a singular transaction where you're specifying the origin site and the destination site. Then you in part specify the product and quantity that's going to be transferred from one location to the next. From a financial impact perspective, all the flows through the inventory and in-transit inventory accounts all happen within one journal entry. The second method of performing the Intersite transfers is a little bit more involved. What you'll see in this model is that an Intersite purchase order is initially going to be generated on the site that is ultimately going to receive the inventory. Upon creation of that Intersite PO, X3 is going to automatically generate an Intersite sales order from the shipping site to the receiving site. From there, the sales order is going to be processed in the conventional manner, going through the allocation, picking, and delivery routines. Once the goods are ready to ship, the sales delivery record is going to be validated, and this validation step is going to be the step that registers the charges into the in-transit inventory. Then finally, at the point in time that the goods are received at the receiving site, a purchase receipt is going to be registered against the Intersite delivery to kind of bring everything full circle. Okay. We're going to take a look at some of the reporting that exists within the system to track in-transit inventory. One tool we're going to look at is the stock valuation report. The stock valuation report can be run to provide you with details of inventory that you have in transit. And the second one is the stock by site inquiry. Okay, so now let's cut over to X3 and step through some examples. Okay, so for our first example, let's take a look at the one-step method. So we're going to come under our stock menu, then go to receipt issue transactions, then down to Intersite transfers. In here, we're going to start by clicking on the New button. We're going to specify the storage site, so this is going to be the site from which the goods are going to be transferred from. Then down here in the destination site, we specify the warehousing location to which the goods are going to be shipped. Down in our selection block, we go ahead and specify the product that we want transferred. Then what we should see here is once we specify the product, down here in the lower left-hand corner, we can click on the Stock Selections tray. And that's going to pull up a register for us for all the inventory that we have on hand. So in this case, I can see that I have 990 units of these aluminum sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the stock record. And in this case, I don't want to transfer everything, so I'm going to update my quantity stock here from the 990 and say I just want to transfer 10 sheets. Okay, update that. Now I can click on the Create button, and that registers the creation of the Intersite transfer. At this point, I can go ahead and print out my transfer note. Come over to my print icon, then come to Record. And at this point, I'll do my print. And this will go ahead and generate the transfer note. Okay, so here's a copy of what the transfer note looks like. It's got your transfer identifier on it, the address of the facility that you're transferring to. You got your product description. If there's any lot, sublot, or serial number characteristics associated with the good, those would be detailed herein, as well as the quantity as what is shipped. Okay, so that's all really in terms of what's involved with the one-step transfer. So next here, let's go ahead and take a look at the other transfer method. So for this method, we're going to start by coming under our purchasing menu and come down to Orders and Orders. Go ahead and click on the New button. In the Order Site field here, this is where you specify the site that's ultimately going to be receiving the inventory. In the supplier field here, you input the site that's going to be supplying the inventory. So in this case, you can see here we have, upon specifying this supplier, that Intersite box is automatically checked. Okay, so if I take a moment here and if I can tunnel down to this supplier record, what you'll see here is that this supplier that's been set up under my BP's module, it has this Intersite box that's checked, and here's the site within my organizational structure to which it's linked. Okay, so that's part of the setup there that's required. to let X3 know that this is an Intersite BP. Okay, come to my Lines tab, input my product. Specify the quantity that I want ordered. Okay, go ahead and create the PO. Okay, so one important thing to note here is upon creation of this Intersite purchase order, note how in this log file X3 tells us on line 4 that this Intersite sales order has also been automatically created. Okay, Intersite sales order ending in 0095. I can close there. Before we leave the PO here, just a couple quick things to note. And if you ever need to do a lookup of what the corresponding sales order is associated with an Intersite PO, a couple different ways you can tell. If you come over to your Total tab here in the Acknowledgement Notes section here, that sales order number is captured here, indicating it being an Intersite. Then in addition to that, another way that I can tell is if I come to the Action button on the line and come up to Pop-up View. In here, the acknowledgement's also listed here on the line. Okay, so you kind of have a couple cross-references there. Okay, so let's go ahead and end out of here and let's go over to the sales order. So we'll go to Sales, Orders and Orders. I think that ended in 95. Okay. So there's my sales order there. Again, just confirming the product here and what was ordered. So at this point, I can go ahead and put this through my standard order fulfillment cycle. So in this case, I have an open order. It looks like it was automatically allocated. No holds, no credits that are at play. Okay, so at this point, I could come along, do my picking ticket. Go ahead and flag that picking ticket as being deliverable. Come down here, click on my delivery button. Okay, here's my delivery for my Intersite here. So I'm going to go ahead and do my validate. Okay, so now upon the validation of that Intersite delivery, we can see how the delivery is flagged as being Intersite. Before we go do the purchase receipt to receive the inventory in at our destination, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of the inquiries and reports in the system. So let's go ahead and close page out of here. Okay, so the first inquiry to take a look at here is our stock by site report. So that's found under your stock menu under inquiries, stock, and stock by site. So in here, I'm going to go ahead and leave my site field open. Then over in the product field, I'm going to specify the product that I transferred, which is this aluminum sheet. Go ahead and do the search. So what I want you to notice within this inquiry here, here's the site from which we transferred the product, the NA011. And here's the site to which the goods are being transferred to, the NA012. Now if I come and scroll to the right here, I have in-transit stock column and a transferred stock column. Okay, so you see how X3 reflects it. So for the NA11, the goods are we have 100 units that are being transferred from this facility. and those same number of units are in transit to this particular facility. So it kind of gives you both sides of the coin there, okay, giving you visibility where it's coming from and where it's going to. Okay, so that's the first one. Next here, let's take a look at the stock valuation report. So down under stock, periodic processing, valuation, and stock valuation report. Okay, so in here, I'm going to go ahead and specify my company, my valuation mode. Down here in the sites field, I'm going to specify my NA11 and my NA012 site. Then now here's the kicker. Down in the stock status selection, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this AQ&R, which would basically show me the inventory that's on premise at these facilities that are spread across these various QC statuses. And I'm only leaving this transferred box being checked. Okay, so when you run it in this manner, it's only going to show you the inventory that's in transit. Okay, so I'd come over here, click on the OK, and then in part it'll go ahead and render this report for you. So just like we would expect here, here's my aluminum sheets. I have 100 of them that are presently en route to my NA012 site. Here's the respective $12 a unit standard cost for a total valuation of $1,200. So this is the balance that you could tie out against your GL account for your in-transit inventory. Okay, so let's go ahead and now put a ribbon on this whole process and do the purchase receipt to receive the goods in at the destination facility. So back in X3, I'm going to come to purchasing, then go to receipts and receipts. Do my new, specify the receiving site. I can specify the supplier. Okay. Then at this point, I'm going to come over to my left list and come to the delivery selection, and this is going to provide you with the register of all your Intersite deliveries that haven't been received yet. Okay, there's my aluminum sheets. Go ahead and click on that, and that will register it in, and I can go ahead and do my create, and that creates my receipt identifier. Now these 100 sheets are going to be registered at the NA012 site. Okay, so those are the two methods of performing inventory transfers within X3. I hope that this video lecture is of help to you. If it is, I'd ask you to please remember to like and subscribe. And as always, if there's any questions, please feel free to inbox me. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you next time.